Hi everyone, how are you doing? My name is Ibrahim and I'm on the path to learning and mastering data analytics. And I hope to share my journey with you, everything I learned, the concept I learned, and the project I'm building. So in this video, I want to share with you a little concept I've learned. When I first began my data analytics journey, I was kind of overwhelmed with the amount of materials that is on the internet. Where do you even start from? There are so many concepts to learn and master: Excel, SQL, Python, R. You know what I'm saying? So I was overwhelmed. So I was looking for a way to make this learning journey a little bit more simple for me to manage. So that is when I came across this concept of learn, build, share, and repeat. So this concept basically just involved you learning something new, just learning the fundamentals of a tool. For example, in the case of data analytics, let's take SQL for an example. In SQL, just learn the beginner concept first. Start with the beginner concepts. So in SQL case, that might be select from where joins group by and order by. So try to learn and master this concept. Learn, then everything you've learned, you use that to build a project. Build a project based on everything you've learned. So you might be asking, how do you find projects to build? Well, there are a couple ways. You can search online on YouTube. For example, there are so many open source projects online that you can follow along with. So this will help enforce the learning and practice everything you've learned. Another way, which is one of my favorites and something I recently learned, is to use AI, ChatGPT. So here's the technique. So you're gonna prompt it, "Hi, you don't have to do this. I just learned some beginner SQL concepts. Could you suggest some projects to build based on the concepts I've learned?" So you're going to prompt it and it's going to provide a few beginner projects for you to build. So here's one: personal library database. Wow, that's interesting. So what you build a database to track books you've read or want to read. This is actually a fun project that I might, try out. So here's the skills you practice. You practice how to create tables, how to insert data into tables, retrieving data, using filters, order by, aggregating, count, and group by. So here's an example of tables to create books tables. So here are the columns that will be in the tables: book ID, title, author, and yeah. Here's another project: simple movie collection. A database to manage a collection of movies. So skills you practice: relational joins, foreign keys, null constraints. Wow, it's actually pretty deep. Example tables: movies, directors. So you can join these two tables together. This is actually way more intermediate than beginner, if you ask me. But yeah, another project: employee directory, a database to store employee information for a small company. So here are some skills you practice. Here's the tables you can create. So yeah, so you can basically just expand. So for example, let's say you want to create this database, personal library database. So you can just prompt it. Let's go with, so I'm trying to hide this. I actually don't know how to, but hope it's not distracting. So yeah, let's go with personal library database. So you can try to like populate the table. You can ask ChatGPT to help you populate the table. So let's say, what was the error? Actually, it's just nothing. Okay, could you create the table and include the code for me to copy? So on a side note, I feel like it's important for you to master this concept first. You can't just rely on ChatGPT to write the code for you. You know what I'm saying? So you need to know what this does. You need to know how to create a database. You need to learn how to insert records into database, how to assign constraints, you know, data types. So here's the code. You can just copy and code. You can just copy and paste this code into your database system, MySQL or SQL Server. You can just use it. It even helps you to populate the table, which is actually pretty great. So yeah, some queries. It actually went all in for you. So, but yeah, I would highly recommend you just try to take this with a grain of salt. Just you can use the code, but try to understand what all this does. So once you've done this, you've copied and pasted all the code and everything. You move on to the next step. Once you build a project, for example, a personal library system to keep track of books you've read and books to read. So once you've created this project, you need to have like a place, a repository to share this project. For example, you can use GitHub, which is amazing, to just share, to store code and other related projects. You can also use social media. I prefer to use Twitter and LinkedIn because this is where you're gonna find your community. Most data folks or engineering folks, you find them living on Twitter or LinkedIn. And recruiters can also find you on LinkedIn once they see the project you built. It's easy for recruiters to find you and contact you in a way. So you could also use Medium if you prefer a blog format, or even YouTube, which is also amazing. And it's YouTube is kind of like it's easy to get discovered, you know, on YouTube. So yeah, once you've shared this project, all you have to do next is kind of like just repeat this process. You learn more advanced or intermediate concept. You learn more intermediate and advanced concepts. Then you build a project, you share it, just keep repeating this process till you keep mastering every single concept you've learned. Because learning, it's easy to learn something new and forget the day before, the day after, or a few days after. So the way for you not to forget is to kind of like build projects with it. Building projects just enforces this learning. It challenges you to practice everything you've learned. So yeah, that's basically it. I hope this was helpful. So if you're looking to learn any tool, it doesn't have to be data analytics, software engineering, cybersecurity, whatever that is. I have a process to follow over and over again. So it will not make this learning journey overwhelming for you. And remember that you don't have to learn all these fancy concepts. Start small, then you can build from there. So thanks for listening, guys. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video.